press conference that I've been late for this season. So hopefully you guys will give me a pass on this one. My wife and I and Cocky spent the morning over at the Children's Hospital here in Columbia with those young patients. So fantastic experience there, and certainly puts things in perspective during any time of the year, but particularly this holiday season. So thankful for those children we got to visit with this morning, and the doctors and nurses there at the hospital as well. So apologize for being a few minutes late. Busy week in between recruiting trips. After I talked to the local media here on Sunday, I've been out recruiting like the rest of the college football coaches have this week, and been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess 7 different states still since Sunday. And as soon as I finish this, I'll be getting on a plane and going to my 8th state since Sunday as well. So busy time. Recruiting's going fantastic. Players are in exams this week as well. We'll get off the road here this week and host a couple young men and their families on official visits this weekend. I believe graduation here is on Monday, I believe. We've got some December graduates that we're very proud of and want to congratulate them. And then we'll crank up a practice next week and plan to get 9 practices in here in Columbia before we break on the 22nd for Christmas. We'll practice that morning and give our guys a few days off to get home and be with their families during this holiday season. And then we'll reconvene in Charlotte on Christmas night and get to work. And so thankful for the opportunity to be a part of the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and what a fantastic opportunity for our fans as well, and players. I know there's a lot of excitement about this game. I was in Charlotte Friday night for an ACC event with my dad. I was in Charlotte Monday night for the Nagurski Award presentation, and there's so many Gamecocks that I've talked to that are excited about this, so many Tar Heels that I talked to that are excited about this matchup. And I know there's some great energy in Charlotte right now, and as there should be, and we're very thankful to be a part of this bowl game. So thankful for our players. I'm so excited for our players to be going back to a bowl game for the first time since 2018. Excited for them. It's a great reward for them. We've got a big challenge ahead of ourselves with North Carolina and Coach Brown. Ton of respect for their program and the way they do things. Ton of respect for Coach Brown. He's a legend of the profession. Somebody that back in my dad's very first season at Virginia Tech back in 1987, I think Coach Brown was the head coach at Tulane, and my dad played Virginia Tech, and Tulane played Virginia Tech, and my dad played Coach Brown in Tulane down in the Superdome that year, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty neat that my dad's first year as a football coach at Virginia Tech, he played Coach Brown, and here I am, my first year as a head coach at South Carolina, and I'm getting to play Coach Brown. I think the Hokies got the heck beat out of them that night. So hopefully this Beamer will have a little bit better success. But it's a great testament to Coach Brown and what he's about as a coach, and the level of success he's had for a long time, that he's still doing it at a high level. So we've got a really, really big challenge ahead of us. They're extremely talented, and we're excited for the opportunity to go compete. So with that, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Gene Tapikoff has the first question.
Hey, Shane, just asking you about the state of college football right now, and in particular, the December 15th signing date, the early deadline, and the transfer portal. Are there unintended consequences that go with that? And you have concerns going forward for the sport?
In regards to the sport, I mean, I certainly think there's, things that can always be better, and trust the decision makers that make those decisions to continue to make this sport even greater, than what it already is. And in regards to the December signing period, I'm a fan of it, Gene. From a personal standpoint, it's a grind. Obviously, as coaches, particularly ones that play in championship games last weekend, because there's a lot of young men that you're trying to get out and see in a short time period in December before signing day. But I'm a fan of it. It is tough on young men that we're all set to sign with a school next week that their coach has either gotten fired or left for another job here in the last, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that certainly can put a kink in some plans as well. But thankfully, there's the February signing period where young men, if they're not ready to sign next week, they can wait. So like anything, Gene, there's positives and negatives about it. I'm a fan of the December signing period, and I think most of the prospects that I talk to are as well.
Ben Portnoy.
Shane, Mack was talking about how fun it is for him that he gets to coach against you, having known you as long as he has, and your dad as well. Just, as far as older coaches and kind of your experience with it, just what's that been like to have, I guess, coaches like Mac, like your dad, like some of the guys that you've worked with as resources for you? And I guess, how much does that impact you as a young coach? And what's kind of your relationship been with Mac through the years as well?
No, it's huge. I mean, Coach Brown and his wife Sally are two of my dad's I think probably closest friends in the profession. And I can remember when I was at Virginia Tech in college, and Coach Brown was the head coach at North Carolina. My mom, not to bore you with details, but my mom, she spent some time in college at UNC Greensboro, and then she ended up, also going to Averett. But being in Greensboro, she kind of became a secret Tar Heel basketball fan. So even when I was in college, Coach Brown was kind enough to give my mom and I tickets to go to Chapel Hill and go to the Smith Center and go to some basketball games as well. So her and I getting to go to a UNC Duke game was a thrill for her. So it goes back to that with Coach Brown and being good to me and my family. I remember when I got the job last year, one of the first people that called my parents was Coach Brown to congratulate my dad on me being named the head coach at South Carolina. When I was at Virginia Tech, my dad sent myself and a couple of our coaches at Virginia Tech out to Austin to just spend a couple of days with Coach Brown and his coaching staff. I think Brian Harsin was the offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, and then Stacy Searles, who's the North Carolina offensive line coach now, and is one of my best friends in the profession. Stacy was the offensive line coach, and then when Coach Brown finished up his career at Texas, Stacy being hired at Virginia Tech was very much because of Coach Brown calling my dad and recommending Stacy. And even since I've gotten this job, I've had conversations with Coach Brown, just calling him and picking his brain on different things and things that he's learned over the years. I've read the book that he wrote about coaching. I've read that and certainly took a lot from it. And it's great to have a Hall of Fame father, but then also to have coaches like Mac Brown, that are willing to help younger coaches in the profession. It says what he's about, and something that I'm very thankful for also.
David Cloninger.
Shane, I believe that Z White made it kind of clear last night, but just to confirm it, is he definitely out for the bowl game? And will there be anybody else who you've heard that will opt out?
It's not definite that he's out for the bowl game. I just literally got off the phone with Z White before I walked in here on my way back from the hospital. I've had multiple conversations with Zaquandre since the day after the Clemson game, and I've had multiple conversations with a lot of our guys, and certainly we've got some guys that are having decisions to make in regards to the NFL, in regards to we've had some guys that have gone in the transfer portal, like every school's dealing with right now. So we've got a lot of young men that I've met with, a lot of young men that I'm having conversations with, and we want what's best for them and their futures, and certainly things that we're working through. But to answer your question, I would not say it's 100% that Zaquandre's not playing in the bowl game. He made that clear to me in the conversation, things he's still working through, and we want to get him the best input and possible to make a great decision. And then in regards to everybody else, we've got some other guys that are making decisions, and we'll all reconvene here this weekend when everybody gets back in town and kind of see where we're at and go from there.
Olin Taylor.
Yeah, Shane, you obviously mentioned, I think Sunday, that you expect all of your assistant coaches to be in their roles for bowl practice. How do you go about balancing staff continuity and stuff like that with maybe wanting to go in a different direction or guys leaving for other jobs? How do you kind of balance those two things?
Ultimately as the head coach, my job is to do what's best for the South Carolina football program, period. And always has been and always will be. So it's constantly just evaluating where we are and and what's the best thing for us, going forward, personnel wise, scheme wise, program wise, everything. And, it's a busy time, obviously, right now with recruiting, because we hit the ground running the day after the Clemson game, and we haven't slowed down yet. And we won't, slow down from a travel standpoint until Saturday night, I guess, is the last day that we're on the road. And then I'll be somewhere. I'll be in a home on Saturday night. And then we get back in here and kind of get full speed ahead on getting ready for signing day next week, and being here, getting ready for the bowl game. And certainly I've spent a lot of time thinking about what the best thing is for our program when I've been on airplanes and rental cars and things like that. And we'll constantly, do that as well. And then as we get through the season, to me, the season's still going on, and we have another game left. And as we continue to go through December and get into January, we'll continue to evaluate the program and what's best for the program going forward.
Mike Cuba.
Shane, with your family and the history of bowl games, I think your dad had the second longest active streak of going to bowl games. I think you were probably around like 16 when he appeared in his first bowl game as a coach. So you have a lot of memories, good and bad, of course, when you were a player as well. But what do you remember, either being a son of a coach going into that bowl game, watching from afar, or playing in a bowl game, and, just being a coach as an assistant coach over the years in bowl games? Or what do bowl games mean to you and your family?
Yeah, no, great question, Mike. I mean, it's what makes college football so special, and I'm a bowl guy because there's so many fantastic things about it, and there's so many great bowl games out there. And my dad used to say it, there's no such thing as a bowl game, and just for the players and the rewards of being able to go to a bowl game and be together in a different city and play a new opponent. I mean, there's so many fantastic things, and it's a reward. And I've been part of some great ones, and it makes you appreciate them, because you're right. I was my dad's first year at Virginia Tech. I was 5th grade, and the first bowl game that Virginia Tech ever went to with my dad as the head coach was my junior year of high school. So from 5th grade to my junior year of high school, he was trying to get the program going and never went to a bowl game. So in 1993, when Virginia Tech got selected to go to the Independence Bowl and play Indiana, man, you would have thought it was the Rose Bowl, the Super Bowl, whatever, for everybody at Virginia Tech. And then even my dad to this day will tell you we beat Indiana that day. Torian Gray played in the game, and it was a fantastic win. And that one will always be special because it was the first one. And then so many great bowl games along the way at Virginia Tech. And then when I was a player there, and then my first year at Carolina was 2007, and we didn't go to a bowl game that year. And it makes you appreciate going to them for sure. And then had a fantastic run of bowl games with Coach Spurrier. And my dad's last game as a college football coach was back in the Independence Bowl. That was his last game. So his first bowl game and last bowl game was both in Shreveport. So I spent a couple bowl games in Shreveport and for that. And then just being a part of getting to go to the greatest bowl games in the world, being at Georgia and having a chance to coach in the Rose Bowl. I mean, standing on the sidelines in the Rose Bowl, playing Oklahoma in one of the greatest college games ever. And just, I can literally remember just the sun setting and looking up in the stands and just thinking, man, how blessed am I? I'm a little kid from Blacksburg, Virginia, and I'm out here coaching in the Rose Bowl. And then being a part of playoff games at Georgia and Oklahoma. I've been in the biggest of them, and I've been in the not as noteworthy or whatever you want to call it, high profile games, but they're all special. They're all meaningful. There's great memories on and off the field. And I'm a huge supporter and huge proponent of bowl games, and so thankful for the Duke's Mayo Bowl and the opportunity to be a part of this one as well. One that I haven't been to before, that, I've always watched this game in Charlotte on television because it's typically always matched, an ACC, SEC team here recently. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Luciano.
Hey, Coach, I hope you're doing well, and thanks for your time. How special is it to play your border rivals in Charlotte, and what does a bowl game mean to that rivalry?
Yeah, it's great. It's a program that we have a lot of respect for, and it's neat that you have kind of the battle of the Carolinas and something that, the great people of North Carolina and the great people of South Carolina are here in this state. There's Gamecocks that live there in North Carolina. So it's exciting for for a lot of people in a program that we have great respect for, and to be able to do it, in Charlotte, a city, right up the interstate from us. It's so easy for our fans to get to, and so easy for the people of North Carolina, to get to as well is really exciting. And we couldn't be more fired up about being a part of this.
Corey Diaz.
Shane, I know you've talked about, bowl practice being a great opportunity to get, whether it be scout team guys or redshirt freshmen, whomever, who hadn't really had an opportunity to step on the field and contribute a whole lot to get a lot of meaningful practice time. But when you look at your, first team offense, first team defense, first team special teamers, what will be the priority for those guys over the next, couple weeks of practice to get ready to play North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, that will be the priority, Corey. We've got to get some young guys ready, but we've got to get ready to win a football game against a really, really, really well-coached and really, really, really talented North Carolina team. And, there's a fine line between getting the young guys work, getting the starters enough work, because it's a long layoff. I mean, it'll end up being, I guess, probably a little over a month, I guess, from the Clemson game to this bowl game. So it is a long layoff, and we've got to make sure that we're, sharp and not looking like a team that's sloppy playing game one all over again. So we'll get the young guys some work, but, our priority is to get the 2021 football team ready to go to win a football game. So, of the nine practices in here in Columbia, I'd say, a half of those will be spent introducing North Carolina, because you also got to be smart about, you don't want to spend so much time in North Carolina where you it's not as fresh when you get to Charlotte and things like that. So we'll be able to get to Charlotte and have somewhat of a normal game week practice schedule as we get to Charlotte. And then we'll be able to introduce a little bit of North Carolina here in Columbia, but then also have some time to really try and get ourselves better fundamentally and get our youth a little bit better also.
Will Kronsberg.
Yeah, Coach. You mentioned coaching in the Rose Bowl and what an experience that was. Going back to your last year at South Carolina as an assistant, it was a pretty good year for the Gamecocks. Obviously, they went to a game that wasn't maybe the status it is now, which is it's now the Peach Bowl, ChickfilA Bowl back then. What do you remember that experience? Wasn't a great game for the Gamecocks, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Will. It was. I remember it was a fantastic season, winning the SEC East, having a chance to play Cam Newton and the Auburn Tigers in the SEC championship, beating Alabama, beating Florida, beating Georgia, beating Clemson, beating Tennessee. Just remember the great memories, for that season, but certainly disappointed not being able to, finish it out the right way with a win in the bowl game over in Atlanta. And I don't remember a ton about it. I remember, I think his name was Greg Reed, I believe, was the punt returner for Florida State. I was coaching special teams. I remember he popped off a couple of longer returns, and certainly those stay with you as well, that he was able to do that. But I remember it was a great environment, a ton of Gamecocks in there. Our second trip to Atlanta in back-to-back games, because we had just been there for the SEC championship. And remember what a great job the bowl game did of taking care of us, and what a fun experience it was, and just wish we had played a little bit better in the game that night.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Shane, obviously recruiting the North Carolina area, especially Charlotte's big for you guys in the program. How much momentum could going up there and having a good performance do, not only for the team going into next season, but for the recruiting area to do it against, obviously, North Carolina, which you guys battle a lot for those prospects?
I think it'd be a great statement, and you don't want to put too much into one game. I'd hope, the way we played this season and what we did this year has made an even greater statement than what winning a bowl game would. But certainly being able to beat a fantastic program like North Carolina would be a great statement for us. And year one, this is a team that was in the Orange Bowl last season and had a fantastic year last season. And to be able to beat a program like that would be a great statement for our program. And you always want to win that last game. I mean, as many good things as we did this year, it's been I don't want to say miserable, but there's certainly a bad taste still in your mouth from losing the last game. As a competitor, you want to win your last one, and we're eager to get back out on the field. And I know North Carolina's coming off a tough loss to State. We're coming off a tough loss to Clemson. So both teams are eager to get back out there and compete. And certainly winning the last game makes the spring practice and winter workouts and summer workouts. It gives you momentum going into the new year for sure.
Ben Portnoy.
Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, but you served as the interim coach in the Military Bowl for your dad at Virginia Tech, right? I guess just what do you kind of remember about that experience and you know, coaching in a bowl game? And I guess so now you got a 1-0 record in bowl games, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. Knock on wood, don't jinx me. Yeah, I should have mentioned that one. That was a fun experience. With another, you know, long tenured coach. Tommy Tuberville was the head coach of Cincinnati during that year. But yes, my dad had some health issues and wasn't around the team for the month of December. So I ran everything and was in charge of the program. He was there that day, but he had surgery on his throat and was battling some cancer, and he wasn't really able to talk. So he was at the game and in the press box, but really couldn't communicate. He was there. So I made the decisions during the game, and our guys played really, really well that day against Cincinnati. We scored on defense. Virginia Tech did. So that was fun, you know, kind of the way we did things. So hopefully we've scored a lot on defense here this year at Carolina. So hopefully we can do that again in that bowl game. But that was a fun day. Great atmosphere, great bowl game. Neat staying in Washington, D.C. and playing in Annapolis. And I am 1-0. So hopefully we can stay undefeated here in a few weeks.
Kendall Smith.
Hey, Coach, for those fans who might be on the fence about coming to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, especially after South Carolina's last couple appearances at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, what's kind of your message to them about, hey, you know, there might have been some bad times at Bank of America in the past, but this is a new era, this is a new time, this is why you should come?
I would say that whatever has happened at Bank of America Stadium in the past has zero to do with the 2021 Carolina football team. And I'm sure that not every experience in Clemson, South Carolina has been enjoyable, or Gainesville, Florida, or Knoxville, Tennessee, or Athens, Georgia. And our fans travel in droves to those places. So I don't know why it would be any different in Charlotte, particularly with the opportunity to go to such a fantastic city after Christmas, afternoon game. Going to be an amazing environment. I know I saw you in Charlotte the other night, and I can't tell you how many people came up to me at that event that had bought their tickets and they're coming, and a family that came up to me that the daughter goes to school here at Carolina and called the mom and said, hey, how many people can we fit in our house? Because she was trying to bring her entire sorority to Charlotte to go to the game and stay with her family, you know. So just hearing so many stories like that, I would say that they need to be there to support this football team, because these young men have played their butts off all season and have earned this opportunity. And we're going to need a great environment out there in Charlotte that day. And I would say if they chose not to come, they're going to miss a heck of a game and a heck of an atmosphere and a heck of a bowl game.
Last question goes to Mike Eva.
Shane, piggybacking off that bowl question earlier, I mean, there's obviously been talks over the last couple months, couple years about potentially doing a playoff expansion. You know, with that being said, if they were to do that and that was to impact some of the amount of bowl games they already have, what would your message be for that? And because it seems like you're a big fan of being able to have some of these young men be able to get those opportunities to play in bowl games.
Yeah. You know, certainly there's a lot more important decision makers above me that make those decisions and things like that. But, you know, I know from that I'm probably in agreement with most coaches that if the playoff expands, we certainly want to find a way to continue to incorporate the bowl games into that. I know there's different scenarios out there and models as far as what the expanded playoff will look like, but you certainly don't want to, in my opinion, you don't want to lose the bowl experience, because, you know, some of my greatest memories as a player and coach have been at bowl games. It's a fantastic reward for not just the coaches and the players, but the staff and the families and everybody that get to go together and be a part of that. So I'm definitely in support of continuing to incorporate bowl games in to any potential playoff expansion, and hopefully the decision makers are in agreement as well. You know, we all want what's best for college football, and certainly bowl games are a major part of that.
All right, we're going to let Coach go. He needs to catch a flight so he can color in another state on his map. And
yeah, and in order to keep going to bowl games for
Exactly.
sure. So
Okay.
thanks for being on.